Hello, my name is Jamie Leda and I am the head researcher for a new movie called Matched.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Lucas, and I am the editor and one of the writers for Matched. Our movie takes place in New York City following the unfortunate events of a young 18-year-old girl named Emma who was hunted down through social media apps by a human trafficker. Social media is a hit for teenagers and young adults, but it has created this comfortability of sharing one's location with everyone online, including apps such as Tinder and Snapchat, with 14,500 to 17,500 people being trafficked each year in the United States and 600,000 to 800,000 people being trafficked internationally. Social media sites and apps such as Tinder and Snapchat make it even easier for human traffickers to track down their potential victims. Now, this film is PG-13 and targeted more towards 16 to 20-year-olds, but we do know that that can lead to a younger audience watching the movie. So because of this, in this film, the term human trafficker will be used instead of sex trafficker, and there will not be any visible sex-related images, but instead implications. Drugs and overly excessive violence will not be visible, but instead the implication of girls who have been drugged or abused, such as bruises, marks, things like that, with the exception of occasional forceful gestures and the scene with Emma and Alex in the cop car. Okay, so now let's get to our plot. Just a heads up, it is broken down into sections, and our researcher will be filling us in on some background information related to each part of the section of the plot. And so we begin. Emily is an 18-year-old girl who is more than excited to visit her friends in New York City for the summer before her first year of college. She was surprised that what she would describe as her overprotective parents approved of her going. Before she left, Emma's parents told her to update them and never go anywhere alone. Emma of course agreed, but rolled her eyes. She had lived in the city 6 years before her mother was offered a better job in Canada, which meant 6 years without seeing her 3 best friends.
Today I'll be introducing to you this informative and thrilling movie. Of course, every teen loves their parents just like any other child does, but at times, the bond between a teen and the parents can be a bit of a challenge. About 50% of teens feel uncomfortable talking with their parents about certain situations they may be facing. Parents are more likely than teens to say they have talked to each other about subjects such as peer pressure, dating, and drugs. 93% of moms actually do more of their talking to their teenage kids compared to 85% of their dads.
Emma was immediately greeted by 3 ecstatic girls, Julie, Sarah, and Natalie, upon arriving to New York City, and it was as if the 4 of them had never been separated. Plans for that night were made almost instantly. The girls decided that Emma needed some better party outfits, so they would hit the mall and then get ready for their long night of fun in the city. If there was a club that was poppin' that night or a party that everyone would be at, Emma's friends seemed to know where it was. Emma had only been to a few parties, and they were mostly house parties. In Canada, Emma's family had moved to a small town named Legal. Her mom's job was in the city, but after living in New York City for nearly 15 years, her mom had wanted to live in an area away from the hustle and bustle of city life. When she left home for work, she wanted to be able to come home in a place where she could have some peace and quiet.
New York has a population of about 8,537,673, increasing just by 4.4% over the last few years. New York also has a numerous variety of nightclubs and bars all over the city. New York is the most populous city in the U.S., more than twice the size of the second largest city, Los Angeles. And about 1 in every 30 people that live in the U.S. resides in the big city of New York. There are estimated over 3 million foreign-born residents. Nearly 2 million residents are under the age of 18, and there are over 400,000 more women than men in New York City.
On the cab ride over to the club that night, Natalie grabbed Emma's phone and sets her up a Tinder profile. Natalie tells her that it'll come in handy when finding a guy for the night. Emma would usually object, as she was shy and had only ever been with one guy, Joseph. However, he had cheated on her, causing their breakup, so she decided it would be fun to meet more people. It was her vacation anyway. When pulling up to the club, Emma almost instantly gets a match. The man, named Alex, seems to be a policeman, but also seems to be 26 years old. Her face drops. Julie tells her that she's 18 and old enough to do whatever she wants with whoever she wants. Emma reminds herself again that it's her vacation and takes her advice. Emma gets a text message from her mom asking her what her plans were for the night and hopes that she is having fun. Emma texts her back saying that she was spending the night at Sarah's and then messages Alex.
Tinder is an online dating app commonly used by teens from the ages of 17 to 24-year-olds. It is an app that matches couples based on their physical attraction to one another and alerts you of other profiles that fall within a certain age range and a gender based on your preference settings. It brings up multiple people from different cities that are within a certain distance from you based on your distance settings. When a profile appears, you have the option to either swipe right or swipe left, with the right meaning that you're interested in that particular individual and left meaning that you are not interested. If you swipe left, you will not see that person's profile again. If you swipe right on an individual who also swipes right to your profile, you get a notification that you have a match. You and your match are then able to message each other privately. You are only able to message your matches only. This app currently has 10 million daily users.
After hanging out at the club for about an hour, the girls decide they want to go to the bar. Emma looks at her friends confused, and Natalie pulls out Emma's fake ID. Emma remembered that Natalie had asked Emma over a month ago to send her a picture of herself. Excited, Emma takes the ID and the four head off to the bar.
False identification cards or IDs are illegal and are described as any form of identification that is forged, changed, or otherwise allows someone to establish the false identity of a person. Not all fake IDs are made. A stolen ID is considered a fake ID when used by another person. People between the ages of 18 to 21 attempting to buy alcohol or cigarettes are responsible for a large number of fake identification-related crimes.
5 minutes into walking into the bar, Emma spots the guy she was messaging on Tinder. Her friends encourage her to go and talk to him. He makes eye contact with her and smiles and waves her over. Emma smiles back and heads over to the handsome policeman. He said that he was called in to watch over the bar that night because they had been having a lot of bar fights. He asked to meet her at 2 a.m. when the bar closes and he is off duty. Emma didn't feel comfortable leaving her number, so instead she gave him her Snapchat.
Snapchat is one of the most commonly used apps by individuals all over the world today. Many teens and adults use this app to share pictures or to share their daily activities with their friends. Snapchat is a mobile app that allows you to message, take pictures, or even short videos, all called snaps, and are able to be sent to other Snapchat friends. Snap senders are able to set a timer for how long they wish for the receiver to be able to view that snap being sent. Once a snap is received and the timer set by the sender has expired, the person receiving snap is unable to view that same snap again. Snapchat's disappearing messaging features stood out to other competing social media apps and helped to gain its popularity. Snapchat also has a featured Snap Story, which allows users to add snaps that all friends are able to view for 24 hours before disappearing. The newest feature on Snapchat, called Snapchat Maps, allows you to view exactly where your Snapchat friends are, no matter where they are in the world. A little character called a Bitmoji, which users are able to create through the app, are placed on a map of the world to show the location. You are able to zoom close enough to even be able to see what street that person is on. You are able to keep your location private in the settings. About 158 million people are using Snapchat today, and the average person opens the app about 18 times a day. Nearly 2.8 billion Snapchats are created a day, and about 61% of other users use this app to chat with their friends.
Okay, we have now reached the last part of the plot, but definitely not the last part to the story. And it continues like this. After a few more hours of bar hopping, the girls all drunk, decide to go to an ice cream shop that was their favorite when they were younger. After a while of talking, Emma gets a snap from Alex saying that he is outside. Surprised, she tells her friends that her mom is calling and steps outside. She is so excited to see Alex, and they talk for about 15 minutes before he asks if he could take her on a ride through the city. She hesitates and mentions her friends. Alex tells her that they haven't even noticed that she's been outside and that they would be really quick. Emma checked to make sure her phone was still pretty charged, looked back at her friends laughing and having fun, and then decides to take up Alex's offer. After going down a few blocks, Emma remembered to ask how Alex knew she was at the ice cream shop. He smiles and tells her that he found her using Snapchat maps. She looks at him awkward, and he said he wanted to surprise her. Emma, feeling uncomfortable, starts to look around his cop car. Once they stop at a red light, she tries to open up her side door, only to find it locked. Emma tried to laugh it off and tell Alex that she thought only the back doors are locked from the inside. He laughs back, and she taps his badge to feel that it wasn't real. Sarah's uncle was a cop, and the girls used to always try and wear his badge. She panics, and before she can do anything, Alex slams on the brakes and turns into an alley. Emma screams, and Alex elbows her in the face. He meets up with one of his men in the alley and puts her in the friend's trunk, where another girl, 2 years younger, was lying tied up. Inside of the trunk was a picture of Alex's face on a wanted paper for human trafficking.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of women and children within national or across international borders for the purposes of forced sex work. Human trafficking affects people of all backgrounds and ages. It involves a transport or trade of people for the purpose of work. Sexual exploitation includes a variety of things such as pornography, prostitution, or a human being exchange for either goods or money. California is ranked number 1 along with China and Russia among the worst offenders when it comes to trafficking. Men are often trafficked into hard labor and jobs, while children are trafficked for labor positions in textile, agricultural, and fish industries. Adult women make up the largest group of human traffickers, along with young girls and children. These girls are mainly forced for sex work, prostitution, or trafficked into the commercial sex industries. Most of them are often deprived of food, sleep, and are unable to make about freely. It is very rare to see girls get out of human trafficking due to the fact that they are threatened and overpowered by many men. Most women get abused and are then isolated, often unable to speak the language of her captors or fellow victims. Many women are told that their family or children will be harmed or murdered if they are caught trying to escape. So in this movie, we wanted to focus on 2 actors and actresses that were very popular in today's generation. The first one being Cara Delevingne as Emma Lee. Cara is 24 years of age, but has a youthful face and has played younger roles. She's a fashion model and the face of beauty campaigns. She appeared in Val United Kingdom, where she won the Model of the Year in 2012. She is a star of Paper Towns, which grossed over 85 million worldwide in theaters and over 7 million in total domestic video sales on a $200 million budget. One of the other ones we wanted to focus on, which was the guy, which was Josh Hutcherson as Alex. Josh is also 24 years of age. He usually plays more of the good characters, so the audience wouldn't be surprised to see him play the role of a sweet, handsome cop. He would help with the shock factor of Alex being a human trafficker, because how good people usually view Josh. Josh was a star in Bridge to Terabithia, which brought in 137 million worldwide from $20 to $25 million budget.
And now we've reached the point where we talk about why Matched. Well, teenagers and young adults, the ages of 16 to 20, are reaching ages of independence, and parents' rules become annoying and all of their advice seems to be wrong. Teens must understand that parents have many more years of life experience than them, making them wiser and full of advice that can lead them to both safety and success. Parents want what's best for their children, and although we may think that they don't know what they're talking about, a lot of times parents end up being right. Unfortunately for some, it takes learning the hard way in order to figure this out. Even though checking in with parents can be annoying and overprotective to teenagers, sharing one's location online to friends and potential predators is found to be acceptable. Social media is great when connecting with friends. However, people, especially naive teenagers and young adults, are getting too comfortable with the information that they share. New features on apps relating to distance and location are making people feel as if they need to show everyone where they are at all times. This can be extremely dangerous. Accepting random people and possible fake profiles and then sharing your location constantly allows you to easily be tracked and hunted down by anyone, including human traffickers who only view you as a paycheck and can take you where anyone you'd want to find you, like your parents, won't be able to. If you or someone you may know needs help, call the Anti-Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888. Advocates are available 24/7 to take report of possible human trafficking.